Hey, what's up, YouTube? Mike from Mass here, Mass Aquariums. I'm uploading some crazy videos tonight, but this video I really wanted to put out because I've recently, well, not recently, but I had some problems, a little bit of brown algae a couple months ago, and I got some help. And I figured out something that is really helping my tank that is very controversial. Well, not controversial, but it's 50-50 in the YouTube community. You're going to watch a ton of videos on water changes, but this video is going to be on water changes. Now, when I first started out months and months ago, years ago, you know, I watched all my YouTube channels, everybody that's into YouTube and all the popular channels, and it was 50% water change every week, or I do 10% water changes every other week, and you can never get a clear video or info on how you should do your water changes. Now, what I'm all about anyway is doing what's good for your tank and what works for your tank. So I'm going to tell you what has worked from my tank over the last 6 to 7 weeks with some help from ADU Aquascapes and my boy Damon Charles. Now, most of what they have given me advice about is about fertilizers and staying consistent, which I've done, and I gotta tell you, my 75 is doing unbelievable. It's very, very balanced now, but I've changed something. I used to do 50% or more water changes a week, and I'm feeling that it's taken a lot of nutrients out of the water column. Now, I don't claim to be any type of expert on any type of, I don't have a master's in water changeology, but what I'm doing for my 75 planted, now this is just for planted tanks. I have an African cichlid tank I do huge water changes on, but there's nothing in the tank besides rocks and fish, and my low-tech tank is low-tech, so it is what it is. But let's talk about the 75 highly planted tank. I have cut down on my water changes. I'm not doing them once a week. I'm doing them every 10 to 14 days. And when I do a water change, I'm only doing about this much. So let's just get a rough estimate here. If this is 100% of the tank and this is 50% of the tank, I'm doing, let's say, 25% water changes. And the tank seems very, very balanced. And I feel like I'm not taking a whole lot out of the water column while I'm adding the new water that the fish needs. So, what am I even getting at? I'm rambling. When you're doing a water change, you definitely need to do water changes, but I don't think you need to do that 50 to 80% water change, or all these. You're gonna watch your YouTube videos and you're gonna pick what this guy does, what this guy does, what this guy does, and you're going to put them all together and do what's best for your tank. I'm just going to tell you what's best for my tank. Right now, it's like a 20 to 25% water change. I don't like to take a whole lot of stuff out of the water column, and the plants and fish, well, the fish always do good, but the plants are doing a lot better. The tank is doing a lot better when I don't take so much water out of it. Maybe you want to do like a 50% water change every other week, or 50% water change once a month, or a 10% water change every day. But, what I'm working with right now that is working great is once every 10 to 14 days for the last probably 2 months. I've been doing about a 20 to 25% water change. And I've seen a huge difference. So if you planted guys out there that have planted tanks, maybe you're having some problems, maybe you're not. Hopefully you're not. But I would think that if you are having any problems, one thing to do is maybe cut down on the amount of water you take out of your tank. It's always, ever since I've been watching YouTube, it's always 50 to 80% water change. Get that water out, get that water in. But you know what? My tank's doing a lot better when I'm taking less water out on a less frequent basis. Now, that being said, I am still dosing all my ferts and everything consistently across the board. I have never strayed from that since I've got this tank balanced. But I am taking less water out less frequently, and my tank is doing a lot better for it. So, beginners, non-beginners, planted guys, any of you guys out there, give it a shot. Don't take 50% out all the time. Just take a little bit of water out. Try it. I know Dustin's fish tanks, he does huge water changes. I just recently watched Jacob's aquarium. Shout out to you, Jacob. He does 10% water changes every other week. Now that's 10%. So it's probably like right here. And his tanks look beautiful. So he must be doing something right. ADU, my boy. You always hook me up with great advice, but you do huge water changes. That works for you. That works for Jacob. That works for Dustin. I'm just telling you what works for me. Mass aquariums. This tank, 20 to 25% water changes once every 10 to 14 days has been a miracle for my tank. The tank is awesome. The algae is non-existent for the most part. You're going to have a little bit of algae, but everything is doing great with these water changes. So, what am I even talking about? Get your tank the way you want it. Experiment with your water changes. Do you really need huge water changes? This is Mike from Mass, and I'm saying you don't need huge water changes. Maybe I'm going against the majority, but what's working for this tank is taking less water out less often. And I hope that helps you out. You might want to try it. You might benefit from it. Maybe your tanks will benefit from it. If they don't, keep doing your 50, 80% water changes, your 30%, percent up, down, up, down. I'm just telling you it works for me. And it's a 20 to 25% water change every 10 to 14 days. Continually dose all the stuff you're supposed to be dosing, whether you're not dosing or you are dosing, whatever works for you. But this is about water changes. And this water change for me is working miracles, and I love it. So, this is Mike from Mass. Do your water changes. Figure out what works best. What I'm saying is you don't have to do 50 to huge water changes. Cut down on your water changes. It might benefit your tank. I think it will. And hopefully it does, because it's doing great for my tank. This is Mike from Mass. I'm out.